I was on the road for an important job interview when I got stranded on a deserted rural road late at night. Google Maps showed a place called Lakeview Lodge, the only lodging nearby. It was a U-shaped, single-story motel surrounded by nothing but forest. At the front office sat an elderly woman. She handed me a key without writing down my name and said, "After midnight, do not open the door. Do not go outside." It felt strange. My room was at the far end. Inside, it was old but clean. I tried to sleep, but soon I heard soft footsteps near my door, then silence. I blamed my nerves. A moment later, a shadow passed by my window. Slowly, I stood up and pulled the curtain aside. Outside, in the middle of the parking lot, stood nearly 20 people. They were lined up together, facing the motel. Completely silent, perfectly still, not whispering, not moving, just standing and staring. My breath caught. I dropped to the floor in fear. When I finally gathered the courage to look again, they were gone. There was no signal on my phone. I locked the door, climbed into bed, and held my pocket knife until morning. At checkout, under the dull morning light, the old woman only shook her head and said, "You were told not to look. You chose to." I didn't ask for an explanation. I just got in my car and left. After a fight with my girlfriend, I decided to spend a night away at a small motel outside the city. Sleep Easy Motor Lodge didn't inspire confidence, but it was cheap. The room felt cozy, with a table lamp and a stud drawer. When I forced it open, I found a notebook inside. It looked like a diary, filled with single-page entries written in different women's handwriting. Every entry said the same thing. He liked my earrings. He said they belonged to his mother. He left, but the earrings are still here. The final entry read only, "I can't stop crying. It's okay." It was unsettling, but I assumed a previous guest had left it behind. I put in my earphones and went to sleep. Halfway through the night, I felt a sharp tug on my right ear, as if someone had yanked out my earphone. I sat up fast. The earphones were still in my ears. I turned on the light. On my pillow, neatly placed, was a pair of small pearl earrings. They weren't mine. I grabbed my keys and slept in my car for the rest of the night. In the morning, when I checked out, I asked the young man at the desk about the notebook and the earrings. He went pale. "Oh, you got that room," he said. He refunded my money and firmly told me, "Please leave." After a long cycling trip, I stopped in a small town and rented a room at the only motel, Oasis Inn. The room was ordinary, but I noticed something odd. One wall, next to the bathroom, was fully plastered, while the rest were paneled. Late at night, I woke up to a sound. Scratching. It was coming from that wall. I thought it might be pipes or rats. But the sound was rhythmic, long scratches, short scratches. Almost like letters. I quietly walked to the door. The sound stopped. The next morning, I asked the front desk clerk, "Is there something wrong with the wall next to the bathroom in room 211? Without looking up, he said, "There's nothing there. The previous owner planned to expand the bathroom, then changed his mind. It's just a sealed empty space." A sealed empty space. That's when I realized what the rhythm had been. Morse code. And the message, repeating over and over, said only 2 words: "Help me." I was leaving town for a new job. It was pouring rain, and I stopped at an old off-season motel called Sunset Terrace. At reception, a tired young man handed me a key and said, "Down the hall. End room 7. Room 7 was depressing. 2 beds, a broken TV. But on the windowsill sat a small framed photograph. It was a Polaroid of the same motel, taken years ago. A smiling couple stood in front of the door. On the back, it read, "Our place. June 10, 1998. That night, I woke to the sound of the door lock turning. A key fit. The door opened. A shadow entered. I stayed perfectly still, pretending to sleep. The man searched the room, checked the bathroom, looked behind the TV, like he was looking for something. Then he approached the bed and picked up the photo from the windowsill. He traced it gently with his finger, slipped it into his jacket pocket, and whispered, 'Thank you.' Then he left. In the morning, I mentioned the photo. The receptionist said, 'Oh, that was Mr. Henson. He comes every year on June 11th and rents room 7. His wife died here in 1998. He just comes to take the picture, and usually returns it by morning.' But this time, the photo never came back. Because of a work miscalculation, I ended up stuck at a highway exit motel called Railroader's Rest. It was long and narrow, like a train car. My room was in the middle. Before I went to sleep, the room's landline rang. I answered. On the other end was the sound of a child crying and a woman's distant voice saying, "It's time, sweetheart. He's here. Open the door." "I think you've dialed the wrong number," I said, and hung up. 5 minutes later, the phone rang again. This time, just breathing. I unplugged the cord. Around 3 a.m., the phone rang again. Ring, ring, impossible. I pulled the blanket from my head and saw the old cream-colored phone, cordless now, glowing and ringing from its base. Terrified, I lifted it and slammed it back down. The ringing stopped. At checkout, I asked quietly, "Does room 12 get strange calls often?" The elderly clerk sighed deeply. "Your room is directly above the old switchboard," he said. "Sometimes the lines cross. In the 1970s, a woman stayed here with her little daughter. She was on the phone, and the child wandered off in the lobby." He looked down. "She was never found. We thought we fixed the wiring. Sometimes they still call. The wrong room."